I am the writing on the wall, the whisper in the classroom. Without these things, I am nothing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it's all about the monster. We are a creature feature podcast about monsters and why we love them. I'm one of your intrepid hosts, Joe Praska, and with me, as always, is... Did you hear the snap?
I did hear the snap. I'm your other intrepid host, Khalid Hussein. You threw me off.
Thanks for adopting intrepid.
Yeah, of course. No, I like it. It's good. It's a good descriptor. I don't know that I fully embody intrepidness, but I'm willing to take on the mantle and earn it.
Yeah, I guess I'm not 100% sure what it means, but I'm just going to keep going with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume it's like something to do with like being like a badass.
Probably. But yeah, good recovery. I was trying to trip you up a little bit and see if you could flow through it like the pro podcasters we are at this point.
Yeah, no, you definitely threw me for a loop, but all these this year and a half of podcasting has gotten me very nimble. I can work with the sudden changes.
You're a nimble speaker.
Yes, I think everyone would agree with that.
Oh, 100%. I'm going to just jump right in, Khalid, and let you know that we've got a special guest for this episode today.
Yeah, boy!
Yeah. Yeah. Joining us today, Khalid, is our good buddy Joel Brewster of Westcoast Strange fame and host of the No Stranger to Horror podcast. Welcome back, Joel.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me back on the show, guys.
Glad to be here. Back. Welcome back, dude.
Thank you. I've been listening to you guys as always. I think I was going to say I was number one fan, but I'm gonna believe Joe's wife is number one fan. Then.
I think we got like 3 people, maybe 4 if you count Jim, that could qualify for that spot or vie for that spot.
Vying for it, yeah, I'd say so. You guys are all up there. You're either the true Frendensteins.
Yeah,
Steins. It's seriously not a bit. I'm trying.
He really is, guys. If you don't believe me, like the amount of things over the years that Joe has like earnestly tried to stop doing that he can't. This is just one of many.
You're going to have some merch with that on it then, Frendenstein or Steins.
Yeah, we'll have to like get an animation thing to go with it. I don't know. Like, how would you animate like Frendenstein versus Steen? I don't know.
Yeah.
Artists out there.
Yeah. That's more of a visual medium. We're strictly audio.
That's true. That's true. Folks listening, Joel joined us before in episode 18, our holiday episode about Krampus. So Joel, it's really good to have you back. How have you been?
I've been good. I've been watching horror, and it's just life's been good. The podcast world's been nice to get into. I was really inspired by your guys' podcast. Wanted to do a little horror podcast of my own from West Coast Strange, and it's been fun.
Oh, I love to hear that. I love to hear. Your podcast is really great too. I haven't listened to every episode yet, but I've really enjoyed it. I try to listen to the ones of the movies that I've seen at this point, but I've really enjoyed it. Your episode on I think it's pronounced Treze or Trace.
Right? Treze, yeah.
Treze,
that's a very interesting
so cool. Show. Yeah, the episode was so good. I like started the episode and I was like, no, I got to watch the show, and I went and watched the whole show, and then I finished the episode. So that I would recommend listening to your podcast.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So, Joel, I'm excited for you to join us for this specific episode. It's a kind of a double feature episode, kind of a compare contrast episode. Khalid, what are we talking about?
Well, thank you for asking, Joe. Today, we are going to talk about 2 movies with the same title. Candyman from 1992 and Candyman from 2021. Do you want me to give both descriptions right now?
I was just waiting for you to keep going.
I was gonna say 2020. I was gonna say 2020, and I realized it was 2021. So that's why that cadence is weird. Anyways, I'm gonna own it. Keep it in there. So do you want me to just do both descriptions right now, or just the first one?
Just roll with them both.
All right. So first off, let's hit up our homeboy Google. We'll do the description for the 1992 film. It was directed by Bernard Rose, and it goes like this. Skeptical graduate student Helen Lyle, Virginia Madsen, that's the actress, befriends Anne Marie McCoy while researching superstitions in a housing project on Chicago's near North Side. From Anne Marie, Helen learns about the Candyman, a knife-wielding figure of urban legend that some of her neighbors believe to be responsible for a recent murder. After a mysterious man matching the Candyman's description begins stalking her, Helen comes to fear that the legend may be all too real. So that was that one. And then the 2020 film directed by Nia DaCosta, 2021. I don't know why I keep saying 2020. This one goes like this. For decades, the housing projects of Chicago's Cabrini Green were terrorized by a ghost story about a supernatural hook-handed killer. In present day, an artist begins to explore the macabre history of Candyman, not knowing it would unravel his sanity and unleash a terrifying wave of violence that puts him on a collision course with destiny. Done.
What a monster.
They're creatures of the abstract that live off potential energy.
It's alive!
Great descriptions, Khalid. Thank you.
Yeah.
I will take all the credit for how it was written, even. I don't even care. That's all me.
Congrats, buddy.
Thank you.
So let's start a little bit with the original, the OG Candyman, if you will indulge me in the slang. What did you guys think of that first one? How about Joel? Since you're the guest, why don't you start us off? What did you think of the original?
I watched the original once when I was younger, then I watched it again only this year. And I really thought it stand out for its time. And I thought the monster was absolutely horrifying, played by Tony Todd. And the real life bees in it really sold it too, because I have a fear of like wasps. So anything with the concept of like bees was like really scary to me. So as a story, I thought it was a great urban legend style monster and a very poetic, cool looking monster too.
Right. How about you, Khalid?
Yeah, so I had never seen Candyman before, and I was not aware that the 2021 version was actually a sequel. So I was pretty confused at times when like the lore was being explained, but having seen it now in reverse order, I really liked it, and it actually like retroactively made me appreciate a few more things from the sequel that I at the time just couldn't really grasp. But yeah, I don't know, I really like the story. We'll get into it. I don't know that I something about having the protagonist of this like very clearly like it's a story about race and stuff like that. So like centering it around a white woman, while like an understandable choice, you can do that and talk about all this stuff. I do wonder like what a version of this movie would have been like if like we had gotten to just live with the people in Cabrini Green. And I think that's kind of what the edge, that's what the 2021 version has an edge on, is that it's like so centered around blackness and like really hits the theme home a little harder. But if we're just talking about the 1992 film, I think that Virginia Madsen really killed it. Like it's a crazy cerebral type of movie, and it's the type of horror that I'm into, like the Jordan Peele type horror, where like it's technically a horror, but really it's more like a thriller, in that like so much more about like conceptually what this thing can do to you is scary versus like what they take the time to show you. And then yeah, Tony Todd is amazing. I only really knew him from like Final Destination as like that creepy dude at the morgue, but I always heard about Candyman and like Tony Todd in relation to it, and yeah, like it holds up. Like the dude did a really good job with like a character that could in the wrong hands be a little bit more corny. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Awesome, Khalid. I'll get into my thoughts a little bit. I have a little bit more history with the original movie. I seen it like you said, Joel, when I was younger, and watching it last night was the first time I'd seen it in years. I think I watched it on TV once when I was a kid, and I shouldn't have, but I have this distinct memory of, I think my parents finding out that I'd watched it and my dad just kind of joking around and saying Candyman a bunch. And I just lost it and just like threw a fit in tears. I was like, don't do it. You know, like terrified me. Like it just got to me. I was like, so that's a distinct memory that I will never forget about Candyman. But but honestly, before that, my like first exposure to Tony Todd was through Star Trek. Like he was Worf's brother. He was old Jake Sisko. He was in all sorts of Trek roles and like random parts. So like seeing him take on this, I was like, oh, that's that guy. It's like, oh, it's that guy. You know, like he's terrifying. He's terrifying. But ultimately, like I like this movie quite a bit. It's heavy. It's dark. It carries dread really, really well. And for kind of like those like iconic slasher monsters, like he kind of stands toe to toe with like those guys, like Freddy, like Jason, like like you could kind of put him up in that regard. But I feel like this movie is just absolutely without camp, whereas those ones tend to at least eventually embrace the camp. Like this is just a much more serious-minded story and a much more, I think, almost more classically terrifying villain. You know, like I've seen a lot of stuff about how they almost kind of wanted to model him after like a Dracula type, where he's this like high society, like classical villain who has dramatic monologues instead of like a quippy slasher, you know? So like, I see that in that, and I really appreciate those elements of it. It elevates it above some of those movies for me in that regard.
Yeah, he had a suaveness to him that was like really different than a lot of the movie monsters back then. Like I agree with you, like the Dracula side of it, because he had like a suave like coolness to him, along with how poetic and like menacing he sounded in that sense. But like it was really interesting to watch it as an older person, because when I was younger, I was like, oh, that's the one like horror movie monster that was a black guy, is how I saw it when I was younger. But when I grew up now, I'm like, oh, he's like a very standout villain in that sense. Was a lot more scary as an adult for me, which was weird, because I was scared of him when I was a kid, but now as an adult, he was even scarier to me.
Yeah, I think I was surprised. Like years and years of pop culture knowledge, like I thought there was like camp to this movie. Like I'd forgotten how heavy it was and how like scary he really could be. And I remember like watching this with my computer, and I was like, just like, I had like put my computer aside and like stopped taking notes. I'm like, I'm getting really into this. Like it's intense.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, coming to this late, sometimes like with these older movies, just by virtue of like how much film and production have advanced since then, it can be like a little harder to get through like the pacing or just like the action and stuff like that. It's just by the nature of when it was made is not going to be as sleek. But I don't know. I think it was like directed really well, personally, just in the sense that the story was always getting me. I think the one thing that I really liked was like, especially at the top of the movie when we were just seeing all of these like aerials of Chicago, was just like such an ominous way to like settle us in. And I know that the Nia DaCosta film, the 2021 version, also does something kind of similar with like showing like Chicago landscapes. So I thought that was a really cool way to immerse us in the city at first and really like let us know where like how, like this is going to be like a tale that kind of spans all of that. And then outside of that, I think that the one scene in particular that like stood out to me was when Helen wakes up in the apartment with the dead dog and the baby's gone, and the woman there just like freaks out on her and starts attacking her. The blocking and all of that was just so well done to me. Like it was just like really like scary in a sense that like I was like, oh yeah, like I feel like this is exactly how it would go down, and like I really don't know, like if the cops didn't come in, I don't know how that would have ended. One of them probably would have been dead.
Like Joe was saying there, they just took it really deadly serious in this movie and everything. And yeah, it was shot a lot better than I thought it was going to be too when I rewatched it.
For sure. I actually had been making notes and wanted to ask you, Khalid, like having the more like film background, like your thoughts on some of the directing. Like at first I was like, what's with like all the aerial shots of people driving, or all the like the zoo, like sweeping shots of roads and skylines and stuff. And I think that I, like you were kind of noting, like it built a sense of unease. Like I feel like to me it was almost to kind of like remove a sense of control as a viewer. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you're not like it like takes a sense of safety like away in that sense. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to like you're not in control of the movie. Like you're just in this world as a guest almost. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I guess when I was watching it, my takeaway was more about the idea of like perspective and the idea of like this is a town full of like people, but like buzzing with stories, you know what I mean, and like interactions and bumping into each other, and like anything can happen, and we're focusing on this story, but you know what I mean, like it's just like that idea of like, especially when you're like talking about the gentrification of it all, is like it was a way to like try to like get you less self-absorbed, I guess, you know what I mean.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but I mean that's also just like one takeaway. I like yours too, though.
Yeah, I mean that's the cool part of like seeing these things, is you kind of take different interpretations from it. Do you guys know like any of the background of the story, like the original story this is based on?
I did like a light Googling on it, but not totally.
So, and Joel, did you say not really?
No, I just knew it was based on a short story.
Yeah, so it's actually based on a short story called The Forbidden from Clive Barker. And so most of us horror fans know Clive Barker, like he did the Hellraiser, Nightbreed, a lot of other like famous stories that have been, many of which have been adapted. He's directed a few. But so this is based on one of his stories. I don't know much about that original story, but from research that I've done, it actually, the Candyman was not black in the story. That the race element was kind of added in to the film itself. And from what I've heard, the director Bernard Rose gave like both Virginia Madsen and Tony Todd like free reign over developing their characters' backstories. So a lot of what we see of Candyman came from Tony Todd, which I think is just super cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I did read about that. He was like very heavily involved with like the design and just essentially like the performance. And for him, it was like he's quoted as saying like this was going to be his Phantom of the Opera. Like,
yeah,
it really was. Like to this day, like he's known for it because of how well he played it.
Yeah, Phantom of the Opera is a good I was thinking Dracula, but Phantom is actually a really good comparison too.
I mean, that's all Tony. I can't take credit for that comparison.
I found a quote from Tony also, like apparently he initially believed that the backstory that the character's name would be Grainville T. Candyman. But apparently
that's what the director reeled him in. He's like, okay, we're gonna stop.
Yeah,
he'll wear a 3-piece suit and he'll have a cane that's actually just a candy cane.
Like he's probably trying to fit the name in it. He's probably like, oh, that's why it's called the Candyman or something. But like that's not his actual name.
Oh man, honestly,
they should have kept that name,
right? Yeah, that's where I'm at with this. Like, why aren't we in that reality? Why aren't we in that timeline where that was his name?
Yes. But I don't even think they say it in this movie, do they? Like his name, like in the new movie, they refer to him as Daniel Robitaille, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that said in this one?
I don't think so.
I want to say that maybe I might have seen that one of the sequels might have given him that name.
I believe so, because I believe it was a sequel that gave him the name that wasn't in the first one.
Okay, so the cool thing about this Candyman and the new one is the new one kind of gave it the Halloween treatment, where they sort of ignore the sequels and just act as a direct sequel to this original one. But it sounds like they took like a little bit of inspiration from those sequels. It's kind of nice they take cool elements, but for the most part, those two, Candyman 2 and 3, what are they called? They have subtitles. It's Candyman 2 Farewell to the Flesh and Candyman 3 Day of the Dead are pretty forgettable. I think I remember seeing them a little bit. Joel, have you seen them at all?
I think I saw Farewell to the Flesh when I was younger. I didn't see the third one.
Yeah, I think the third one's supposed to be the worst. Like the second one, he like Candyman takes a road trip to New Orleans to mess with a family there, and I think it was directed by the dude who did the Twilight movies.
Oh,
yeah, and then the third one, the third one's kind of like the new one. He tries to convince a relative who's an artist to join him as an immortal being.
Oh,
so I could see that. I mean, I guess he's an artist too, but I don't know. I heard 3 is the worst, so I've never seen 3.
I've never seen it either. Wouldn't it be so weird if I just like never saw the original Candyman, but I was just like die hard for 3? Like I didn't even see 2.
Like an expert on it too. Like every single time.
Oh man, that could have happened though, because like back in the day when like obviously like I didn't have cable or anything growing up, so like I was literally just at the mercy of whatever like the network put on, like one of the four networks put on TV.
Yeah, you could have just been like a massive fan if they just played it once.
Yeah, so that you
Yeah.
dropped the ball, Big Four.
Did you? I figured I was excited about this, Khalid, when I saw this. I thought you'd be excited. You saw the Ted Raimi cameo.
Yeah, dude, I was super hyped when I saw that because like I love him and it was Xena, right?
Yeah.
He's so cool. And I was just like, was not expecting it. He has like a nothing role in it. It's so small, but like it was perfect. I was like, yes, this is exactly how much Ted Raimi I need. I think if he was in the whole movie, it'd be distracting.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad although they did say like later on when they're telling the story that character's hair turned completely white. And I kind of wish we would have seen that.
Did we ever see anybody's hair turn white, or did they just keep saying it happened?
No, they just keep saying it.
I mean, it was probably low budget. I get it.
It's super low budget, but yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
The only other thing I really wanted to point out about this one too is the music. I thought the music was so cool.
The music is great. Yeah. Philip Glass, right?
Yep. Philip Glass.
Yeah, no, I was into it. He's a pretty popular composer, right?
He is. Yeah. Like it's just such a unique like horror movie score. Like it's like these like cool piano tracks, this like operatic organ like movements, I guess, if you will. Like it's really cool and like striking, I think, in the moment.
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it really sets a tone and is like a big part of like why the like horror of this movie is effective.
Absolutely. So Khalid, I kind of want to circle back to something you said in the beginning, and I think that you and Joel probably could speak better on this than me as like a white guy. You mentioned like it's weird and kind of like a little bit jarring to see like framed like a story that's so clearly about race framed from the perspective of a white woman, and I think like I totally like think that's true, and that's why the new one is so. I think, and I'll get into it, has a leg up on this original one a bit. Mm-hmm. But what's your thoughts on this whole thing? Like why would it be framed from her perspective, and like why do you think that maybe doesn't work or does work in some cases?
Joel, you wanna sound off first?
Sure. Yeah, I think it was framed from her perspective due to when it was like when the movie was made. I think that's why like it was a '90s like movie, and that's kind of how the perspective we always got, a lot more so in the '90s than let's say now. One thing, because I completely agree with Khalid on that it shouldn't have been framed from perspective. One thing I will give it that it was framed from perspective that did work for me was the amount of things that she did that her friend kept on telling her, you shouldn't go in there. And the amount of time she's like, no, I think I'll be fine. And just kind of went forward. I think it was exemplified so much more in the new movie where there was multiple times where like the black characters wouldn't even say Candyman. And then in this movie, in the original movie, Vanessa Lyle, I think's the character's name. She was constantly just kept on kind of pushing the envelope of like, I think I'll be fine. I won't get in trouble. There's nothing that's going to happen to me, which I think that they kind of framed her to be more of a daring and made the other like black characters kind of be like her warning, which in essence kind of put her in more horror movie type situations. So I thought that part was interesting. But outside of that, I think the movie, the story at least works better in the sequel because you hear more from the people that actually live in the neighborhood as well as the environment that's obviously surrounding around race in the movie.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, like I watched this backwards because I watched the sequel first, right? So the big thing that stood out for me was that like her character and Yahya Abdul-Mateen's character essentially have like the same journey, which isn't like a big revelatory thing to say, but for me, Yahya's journey is like so much more poignant, where it's like this black kid that was born in like a damned like area, you know, like it's the ghetto, so it's damned for two reasons, but specifically like a spirit haunts this place and kills people. And just because he was born there and just because he was in the vicinity when Candyman had to do his thing, his entire life is already like written for him, and it's like doomed for like tragedy. And there's something so like visceral about that. Like this guy, like, even though he somehow like made something of himself to become like a popular artist and was in a field that's like considered like high culture, highbrow, it was his fate was already sealed just because of where he was born. And then to watch the original, and this woman's fate is also sealed, but just because she kind of looked like his girlfriend, like she looked like his baby mama from back in the day. So that's why that happened to her. Like it's not as like I don't know. There's just not as much to like sink your teeth into with that analysis for me.
Yeah, it's like the Mummy, the Brendan Fraser Mummy. Like when the mummy comes back, it's in love with her because he thinks it looks like his ex in a way. And this one, and the newer one is more like you said. It kind of matches more of a like not I don't want to say poetic, but more of a symbol. There's more symbolism behind it.
Yeah, and it's just kind of confusing because it's like, so Candyman's a spirit, so like presumably the slave owner's daughter or whatever that he was hooking up with is long dead. So like he should conceivably be able to like reconnect with her in the afterlife, but no, he has to go for this girl in 92 that looks like her.
I like that. Great points, you guys. I really like Joel. I kind of noted what you were saying about how the Helen character. I think Helen. I looked up her name is Helen. She she kept doing stupid things, but like all her friends like were grounding her and be like, no, that's a bad idea. And I feel like it was actually kind of a disservice in the movie how like I felt poorly that her friend Bernadette was treated.
Yeah.
Like she was the one being like, no, this is a horrible idea, and just get kind of like dragged along this, and then ends up getting just like horribly murdered by Candyman.
Yeah, I'm never gonna understand like both like in both movies, like their rationale for like why they want to do it is also so just like superficially like dumb in a way. Like I get it, like you're an artist, like this is like something that could like launch your career if you do it right, or you're a student and this could be like the kind of thing that like gets you a doctoral thesis or something. I get that, but then I just think about like there are like so many good reasons to just not do that and do literally anything else. You know what I mean? like if I'm like a driven college student or whatever, I don't know that like my first thing is gonna be like, yeah, let's check out the haunted projects.
Yeah, it reminded me of like watching kids on like Instagram or like TikTok. I was like, I can do this like absolutely dangerous and insane thing for likes, but I'm like. Do you know what I mean? That's what it kind of felt like. I'm like, but they're not doing that. And I thought, but that was like a miss kind of thing. I thought that's what it kind of felt like the whole time. I was like, yeah, this is what people do for like likes. You know what I mean? Like go there with their phone for like clout.
Joel, do you remember? So like you got like how like she like opens the mirror and like there's like a whole like room behind it.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that TikTok that was going around of the girl who finds out that there's like a whole like pathway behind her mirror in her New York apartment?
Yeah.
Dude, it was nuts. And I was like, when I was watching that TikTok, I was like, that's ridiculous. Just close it and never think about it again. And then to see it in the movie, I was like, oh, okay. So, art imitating life, imitating art.
It's so funny that you said it because I saw that in the same order you saw it. And I saw Candyman when I was much younger and I didn't remember that mirror scene until I was like, when I watched it when I was older, I'd already seen that TikTok video. I'm like, oh yeah, it's just like that. So it's funny. I watched in the same order you did too.
And it's hilarious because it's just like you watch the movie and it's like, no one would do that. And then it's like, oh, at least one person would do that.
And her friend was warning her in this one too.
Oh, ridiculous. I will tell you right now, if I don't care if it's like Narnia on the other side. If I find like a pathway that shouldn't be there in my house, I'm going to just let it be.
No, there's absolutely no way I'm going. And even if I didn't think there was like whatever back there, I'm like, what are your best case scenario? There could be like rats back there. Anything could fall on me. I'm like, there's no way I'm going through. There's nothing worth it to go in there.
Could be a parasite situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. No spoilers for people who haven't seen it, but that doesn't end well.
No.
Do you guys know the original like murder in this movie they talk about? I think it was Ruthie Mae was killed in that apartment they go visit is actually based on a true story.
Really?
Yeah, I was just reading this in 1987 was a published story about someone named Ruthie Mae McCoy who was a near South Side home, so it wasn't the real Cabrini Green. But she called the police to report an intruder, and someone apparently exploited an architectural flaw in her housing complex and crawled through her bathroom mirror. And days after the call, she was found dead in her apartment.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that's like, I mean, basically what they say in the movie. I feel like it's pretty close to it.
Yeah, I mean, oh, that's terrifying.
Absolutely horrifying. So yeah.
To switch gears for a second, did you guys see the potential casting for like Candyman and Helen initially?
No.
At one point, I don't know if it was ever at like the same time or whatever, but at one point, the role of Helen was offered to Sandra Bullock, and the role of Candyman was initially offered to Eddie freaking Murphy.
That would have been campy, but I would have been interested to see how that worked out.
A world where Candyman stars Eddie Murphy and Sandra Bullock is I can't even conceive of what that movie would be like. And it's like, for me, I'm always like, I kind of take it for granted that like actors are good or whatever, and like it never really registers with me. But like sometimes like the casting choices are so wild that it's just like, oh yeah, this would not be the same.
No, I wonder if it would have changed their careers too. Like if the movie like was a hit, like as a horror, if they would have just changed like what their career trajectory would have been like.
I just can't be scared of Eddie Murphy. I don't know. Like, and here's the thing. I fully believe it, like Eddie Murphy and his prime could like wreck me in a fight, you know, but I still just like something about him, like inherently just like makes me put my defenses down where I'm just like, you're fine. You're cool.
Oh, for sure. Has he ever even played a villain before?
Maybe.
Wasn't he a vampire once?
He's technically the villain in The Nutty Professor. I know he's also the protagonist, but when he's himself as Buddy Love, he's the villain.
That's true.
That's the closest we got, huh?
Yeah, that and what Joe was saying, Vampire in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, I never saw that one. I don't know. Even as a kid, I rolled my eyes at the concept of that.
It was a very campy movie.
Yeah.
So we could probably look to that movie at what his Candyman might have been like.
That's true. That was his Candyman.
Yeah. Should we switch gears to the new one?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the new one?
I really like the new one. I think it added on to to the original. And my wife hasn't seen the original still. And I thought it was really cool how they showed like with the puppets, like puppets, shadow puppets on like what happened in the original one. So I was like, oh, this is the first one. This kind of like sums up what happened in the first one, and then so I thought that was a very interesting way to tell that story. And yeah, like Khalid said, I think the perspective worked better in this one than the original.
What'd you think, Khalid?
I loved it. It was again like maybe it's just because like now with like all the advancements in technology and production and stuff like that, like things just are sleeker and work better, but like the humor hit better for me in this. The Candyman like murder scenes were like super visceral and like just cool to watch. Particularly the bathroom murder. That one is just, it's funny and then it's gory and gruesome and still kind of funny. And then like you see like the little pocket mirror thing where like I love all the like mirror stuff that they did in this one. It just felt way more deliberate. And a lot of that also just comes down to like this had way more money behind it. And just way more star power behind it. Like Yahya Abdul-Mateen is just such a phenomenal actor. I don't think it's a coincidence that like he kind of just like popped on the scene like 5 years ago and he's already just like done like amazing things in multiple movies. And so although I will say I did not believe him as just a regular dude doing things. I'm sorry. I just don't. Like, there are just some people that like Chris Hemsworth, like you have to make him like a soldier or like a Norse god or something. Yeah, otherwise I just roll my eyes. I'm just like, no, like you don't look like that and just like lead a normal life. So like Yahya Abdul-Mateen just like walking around with a camera, like I'm a photographer. I'm just like, no, you're not, bro. Like you're a freaking statue come to life. And then also like when I was looking on Wikipedia, he's supposed to be like 27 and I'm just like, nah,
you're not.
He is not 27.
You're not 27. Like you don't look bad by any means, but you do not look like a 27-year-old. But yeah, just going back to the movie itself, like the casting is so good in this. I really liked Tiana Paris. Like she's so good. Like, if I really, really liked her role in WandaVision, which I think was like the thing that I most know her from. But yeah, she's just such a talented actress, and her whole subplot in this story was like so good. And it was the kind of thing where I was like, I wish they had gotten like whatever the equivalent of Tiana Paris was back in the day to just be the anchor for that film. Cause like it would have been like so much more like emotionally grounded, I think. But yeah, like this movie is just the 2021 one. I really dug it. I will say the whatever they were trying to say as far as like a thesis of the film by the end kind of feels a little muddled, but it was overall a good movie.
Agreed, Khalid. I think I kind of feel like the first one might work better as just like a general horror movie, because I think the scares in the original one were scarier for me, but I think this one I find to be the better movie overall. I like just the reframing of everything and the characters and the way that it built on the world and the mythos was really good. And I'm with you, Khalid. I think Tiana Paris, was it?
Yeah.
Her name? I think she was the breakout for me. I'm really excited to see her and Nia DaCosta working together again in the Captain Marvel movie too, coming out too.
Oh, right.
Oh, so, is Nia DaCosta directing that? I completely missed that.
She is, yeah. So I think that'll be really exciting. Just seeing like them jiving in this obviously worked well. But yeah, no, I liked it quite a bit. I feel like my only experience with like the art world comes from horror movies. Like it's this, and like I watched that Velvet Buzzsaw movie a while back with Jake Gyllenhaal. So if, like for me, like the art scene feels like it's really easy to get murdered in. I'm sure that's not true. Like I'm sure that's not true, but like that's just my perspective on art scene, and I guess I'm just gonna stay away.
I think the advantage to like putting stuff in like the art world is that like you just have like way cooler scenery that you don't have to explain as much, you know. It's just like all these cool little exhibits and like and it'll be like statues or paintings or like even with this one with the gallery, like the way that the walls are painted and like designed and stuff like that, like it just made it look so much cooler when Candyman appeared.
And there's always like so much emptiness there that you can like, you know, there's always a time where they're alone in the art studio and you can like tell so much of a story of like the characters as a troubled artist too. So the art scene always seems to go hand in hand with horror movies. There's a bunch of them that work that way, I think too.
I do got to say, we just got to give it up for Coleman Domingo. That guy is such a good actor. He was the laundromat guy that plays like a big part in the third act. I've seen him in this and Zola, and he's also in Euphoria in a recurring role. And just this, he's just one of those like performers that you just want to hear him say anything, you know, like it's like that old saying, like I would watch him read the phone book. You know what I mean? Like the guy is just got so much gravity to him. And like, he had so many like expositional heavy scenes that could have been boring, but by having him say it, like it really just like registers, like you care about everything he has to say.
Yeah. He was phenomenal.
Agreed. Yeah. He's like almost like Tony Todd in that way, just like a distinct voice.
And to me, actually, yeah. Now that you bring that up, like as much as I liked Yahya Abdul-Mateen, like maybe even like if like there's a world where like Coleman Domingo is the Candyman or like the Anthony character instead, he's probably a little too old. I mean, if we're saying Yahya's too old to play 27, Coleman's definitely too old. But did you know also, just speaking of casting choices, initially that this was going to go to Lakeith Stanfield, Yahya's role?
I saw that. Yeah.
Oh.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah. He would have definitely fit that role really well too.
He can play regular dude.
Yes.
Yeah, he can definitely play. Like, yeah, I see him walking around. I'm just like, yeah, like he could probably like sell me shrooms or something.
Yeah, he's a troubled artist.
Yeah. I'm not just sitting there going like, okay, so like you woke up at 5 a.m. and just like never stopped working out, right?
When you were talking about Chris Hemsworth too, it reminded me of that movie, Black Hat, I think it was. It was a movie that didn't do well, but Chris Hemsworth plays a hacker in it. And I was like, okay, I don't buy that either.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
It's just like his girlfriend in high school is like, Chris, come over. He's like, I can't, I got to hack. I don't buy it.
No. I liked Brianna Cartwright. I guess she was Tiana Paris's character. I liked her brother in it too, from Misfits. Is where
yeah.
I
As
Oh,
soon
yeah,
as
yeah,
I
yeah.
saw him, I was like, "That's my dude."
It was so funny.
What was his power in Misfits? Was he a time traveler?
You could go back in time.
Yeah, he was so good. Man,
Yeah.
Misfits was so good for like
It was
two
a
seasons.
great show. Yeah.
Yeah.
The early seasons. Yeah. I never watched
Like-
the later ones.
You don't need to. There's at least one character whose power, even by those time period standards, was incredibly problematic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So watch the first two.
Yeah. First two seasons, solid. You can pretty much stop there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So in regards to the 2021 Candyman, I was reading a little bit about just like the differences between the portrayal of the Candyman as like an icon, like a horror icon or like a antagonist. So like the original was like very clearly kind of trying to create like a Dracula Phantom boogeyman character for like the Black community a little bit, since a lot of those characters have been rooted in like European culture in that sense. But the new one, I feel like almost, I mean, he's still an antagonist, but it almost reframes it into like a bit of an anti-hero, right? Because it's like he's almost not anti-hero might be too soft of a term, but like they make the lines of like antagonists a little more blurry, I felt like. Did you guys pick up on that?
Yeah, especially near the end.
Especially near the end.
I mean, yeah, Candyman's way more of a sympathetic character in this than in the 92 version. And I mean, I think a lot of that just goes towards the idea of like humanizing the thing you're scared of, which is a big theme in this movie, you know, like in regards to Black people in general. And I for me, like, especially like that scene when Coleman Domingo's telling Yaya about the hook-handed dude that he saw in the bathroom, and then he like screamed and the cops came down, and it's like the way they told that, where like it was like broken up into two parts, where like the first part is you just see the kid scream with the guy with the hook hand and that's it, and that's the scary part, and then they revisit the story and they tell what happened next, and it's like, no, the real scary part is 12 white cops running down those stairs, and you're just like, you ain't never seen that many cops run into a room for a good reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like so, and like it's just like this like feeble old guy that was like living in a hole in a wall, and because he made the mistake of giving candy to children at the same time that somebody else was putting razor blades in candy.
Yeah. Yeah, it felt like they because it kind of seemed like he was not all there prior to like obviously giving the candy to children. He seemed like he didn't really speak too much either. And then they just kind of, and he was a nice person, from what it seemed like. And then, yeah, it was just really sad, actually, the second part of it, when you see him get gunned down, which obviously is going to be sad, but it really hit me for.
Well, yeah, I mean, this man is like clearly like, without diagnosing him, like he's disturbed in some way.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's just like we've all have examples in our minds of like somebody who just, if like a social worker had come to them in a time of distress and not a cop, they'd still be alive.
Oh, for
so
sure.
that was just such a poignant scene to like, that just like underscores the point perfectly of like, if there was a world where like spirits would be upset about something and be vengeful, like this is a good reason to come back as a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. To all of what you guys are saying, it feels like the original Candyman's like a manifestation of like rage. Like he's just a vengeful, angry spirit, and his story is absolutely tragic. But like with this new movie, like how they expand the mythology, it's like they say like there's multiple Candymen. It's not just one person anymore. Like the Tony Todd one was just one iteration, kind of started it all, but it's not just this vengeful spirit. It's like collective trauma, right? Like not just rage, but trauma almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
like I feel like
how
that's
they told that too.
Yeah, all the exposition was done really well, I felt like.
Dude, yeah, the shadow puppets that you guys were bringing up, that was super cool. And yeah, again, like I watched the movie and I was just like, why are they telling this weird story about like a white lady that took a baby? I was like, at no point did it occur to me that they were referencing the original movie, because like up until after I left the movie and read a little bit about it, I thought it was just a straight reboot.
I think a lot of people still do. That's what's happening
Yeah.
online. Even people that now I see like from different horror groups, people are still calling it a reboot. Like, oh, it's a reboot. I won't watch it. It's a reboot. I'm like, it's not a reboot.
No.
No, not at all.
It does a really good job of being a sequel, though. Like getting like Vanessa Williams back as that role, as the mom, and like tying in. I mean, he's like Anthony's literally a character from the original one. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to be a sequel going into. I thought it was a reboot too, like maybe with just nods to the original, but it's very clearly still playing in that same world. And I think that, like I've said it many times already, but the way it builds on the original is so cool and just blows anything the other sequels tried to ever do.
Absolutely. Vanessa Williams did not age, though. That was one of those things.
She cuts off the girl, or she cuts off Yaya for saying Candyman with that clap. I know it was spoiled in the trailer, but it was still just so pitch perfect.
Oh, yeah. It was like the one scene I was waiting, because I was like, oh, this is a great horror movie. I was waiting for that scene more than any other scene of the movie. Like, the trailer bunch, like, I was waiting for that one scene. I'm like, there she did it.
Oh, man. So good.
Right. Would you guys want to move like into sort of like the technical specs of the monstery elements of these movies?
Let's get into it.
So I took some notes on just some of the mythology stuff, the stuff and some of the visual effects. The original movie, Tony Todd actually wore a prosthetic device in the form of the bloody stump with the jagged hook. The new film, and so like spoilers, I mean, we're spoiling the movies, of course, but like Tony Todd has like a small cameo at the end, which is phenomenal. I kept waiting for it. I was really excited to finally see it. And he's de-aged, which actually kind of worked well with the ghostly like appearance of the Candyman in that. But anyway, they actually
has come a long way.
It really has.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But he actually didn't wear a prosthetic in the remake. His Candyman he wore like a green covering over his hand that was like actually replaced with a digital thing. I read a cool article. So the visual effects team was Rising Sun Pictures, and they actually spent the most time in terms of visual effects. Like the mirror stuff was big, like you were talking about, Khalid, but a big part of what they did in terms of visual effects was recreating the Cabrini Green locations, because like none of that stuff was there anymore.
Yeah, I figured. Wow. Yeah, it was impressive. Like it looked great.
Yeah. So like Cabrini Green was actually a real place for a long time, noted for like being architecturally like crappy, but it was demolished in 2011. Yeah. But so like the Tony Todd one, we learned about what Tony Todd wanted to call Grainville Tea Candyman, but it's actually Daniel Robitaille. But as we learn in the movie, he's like a member of a rich black family who's an artist, and then he falls in love with the daughter of a rich white family, and then gets just horrifically lynched, basically, right? Like hands sawed off, like bees and stuff. Like they rub honeycomb on him and like just mangle him, and so he's vengeful. But in the new movie, we learn that the Candyman is not just Daniel Robitaille, but like multiple different kinds of people. And the one we kind of see in the new movie is Sherman Fields, the one you guys mentioned, that comes out of the wall, and he kind of becomes the spirit for a while. And the one we see mostly in this movie until the ending. So did you guys have like a preference for portrayal of Candyman at all?
I don't know. I think that they both bring something interesting to the role. Tony Todd, and then who is the new guy?
The character Sherman Fields, yeah.
Yeah, Sherman Fields. I will say that there was something just like so sad about Sherman Fields and like why he was doing it, where they really just like visually illustrated it versus like the Tony Todd backstory, where you just kind of hear about it and it's just like, that's sad. And like I can only imagine how horrifying and terrible it was in the moment, but like I'm so far removed from like any kind of like scenario like that happening versus like what happened to the new Candyman. You know what I mean? Like that could still unfortunately happen to like someone I care about or me in certain situations.
Yeah, the Sherman, and then to go on with what Khalid said there, what hit me hard about Sherman Fields as opposed to Tony Todd's. Tony Todd, when he appears, he was like this like very like debonair, had this jacket on. There's no like not too much like damage to his face, minus the bees and everything. But with Sherman Fields, every time he appears, he's like really like beaten up, obviously from when the cops attacked him. So every time it's like that visceral image of like a black person like beaten up by the cops, like every single time he appeared. And I thought that when that one mirror scene with Yaya in the house where they kind of do that, where Yaya sees
when he reacts to it and he puts his hands up.
I knew that was coming too. That was another time where I did like the Leo point meme. Yeah, when I saw it, right, I got so excited at that point too. I was like, "Oh, so cool!" Even to see it, but like at the same time, every time I see him, I was like, I felt a little bit sad, and I thought that was interesting for a horror character. That every time I like visually saw him, I was like, I felt a little bit sadness too.
Yeah, you feel sorry for that Candyman versus like the Tony Todd one, where like, especially when like his motives become clearer, and he's just like, you made people like think it wasn't me, so I'm gonna make you like, I'm gonna shed innocent blood and take you, and like it just his whole thing was like so much more personal to him versus the Sherman Fields one, which is like it just kind of cracks open the problem with institutional racism in such a just dark and like hard way.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I agree. He was every time. Yeah, he was a memory, a reminder every time I saw him, and that was tough.
Yeah. I do like the transformation that Yaya's character goes through. It's very reminiscent of The Fly, where it starts off with just like the little bee sting on his hand, and like you just like that metamorphosis of like it deteriorating and rotting, and like it just like his exterior reflecting like the deterioration of his interior like self, like he's losing himself to the story. And I just think that like The Fly, like there's something so tragic about like, oh yeah, man, like as soon as that bee bit like stung you, like it was over in a lot of ways. And like the same way that like it was over for Jeff Goldblum as soon as he stepped into that teleporter.
That's a good comparison. I didn't think about The Fly, but that works really well. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for like the tragic, like, oh, the thing that screwed you happened so long ago. Like, there's no point in even like thinking like maybe I could have done something different anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I'm in agreement with most of you guys. I think I generally like enjoy Tony Todd's portrayal a lot, just because he's like, I just think he's such a charismatic actor and I like him so much. But like, yeah, the motivations of behind his movie, he's much more just a traditional like horror villain. I like his elegance and I like his like monologues. I watched the other night with Nicole, actually watched with me, and she was just like noting like one of his first lines is, what is blood for if not for spilling? It's like, well, that's a heavy way to start off.
For sure.
But like, I mean, there's just like almost like a fun sense to those lines. They're just so like over the top, but like and poetic. But I feel like the Sherman Fields one just works really well with the message that the new one's trying to convey. And the new one's much more sure of itself and just competent in the message it's trying to set off, I think.
Yeah. They did break the rules though at the end of that one in a way that annoyed me.
Yes, yeah, the ending was interesting. But
yeah, let's get into that ending. So
sure.
Basically, Coleman Domingo's character like eventually reveals his sinister plan that like he's making the like Yaya's character is the new Candyman, and he's gonna make sure it happens, and he's gonna get Tiana Paris to like come and like witness it and blah blah blah. And by the end of it, Tiana Paris is like, she's killed Coleman Domingo's character, and she's sitting there with a dying Yaya, or like he's drained at least. And the cops come in and shoot him for like no reason. I mean, sure, to them it's like, oh yeah, he had a hook in his hand. He could have done anything. He wasn't able to do anything. They just killed an unarmed black man. And Tiana Paris is in the back of the cop car, and the cop is like telling her like, look, you can either go with whatever story we cook up that makes sure that we don't get in trouble, or we can put this whole thing on you. And she's like, all right, I will agree to what you say. Just let me look in that mirror real quick. And then she says Candyman 5 times, and Yaya's character just shows up and like freaking Batman style just like wrecks all of these cops who didn't say Candyman. It's very confusing to me.
It very much like Batman too. Like, it's just like everything. Yeah. You're so right.
He just like appears and like drops them. Like it's so effortless. And I was just like,
these are like the bats, just like the swarming in too. Just like, yeah.
small aside from what you're saying, I read that Tony Todd said he was inspired by the Scarecrow, the Batman villain, in his portrayal. So fun fact with Batman connections.
Interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, I was actually, now that when you were describing the end of the movie, I don't know if this is what they were thinking of, but like, so we know that the original Candyman is like largely driven by a need to like sustain his legacy. So like when his existence is coming to question, that's when he comes and start murdering again, because he wants that like fear, or that like the thought of him as a legend to continue. So like I wonder if they're like, I don't know, like in the end of the movie, like she's almost trying to like help continue the legacy in her motives. Like, and I wonder if they're just trying to be like, oh, that like, she's not calling it to like get killed or anything. I don't know. Like, I wonder if that's what they're trying to say with that. Like the killing of the cops will like help with the legacy. You know what I mean?
I guess. Cause I mean, at the end, isn't like the whole thing is like Candyman turns to her and is like, say my name or whatever, or tell the people.
Yeah, like keep my like my story out there. Yeah, like I feel like that's sort of like where it's coming from. It's trying to like make it's removing it from the rules, which kind of frustrating. But I feel like that could also be like set up for like, oh, here's like an expansion of what Candyman's powers are in a sense, which are never quite entirely clear.
Yeah, and I mean that's standard like ghost story fare. You know, like you set up like whatever parameters of the ghost, and then like eventually you realize like even that isn't like necessarily true. I'm fine with that. It's just that like I feel like by pivoting it at the very end to essentially make him like a superhero, really just muddled things in a way that I couldn't get over.
I thought this is just what I thought. Like, I thought franchise wise, this is what they're trying to do. I thought that franchise wise, they were trying to say like, the Yaya's character was part of the entity now. And that when he came, he kind of saved her, killed the cops, and they're all kind of one person now. Like all the Candymans are all kind of one person, but that's why she didn't get killed. And I imagine that in the franchise, and if they make another one, it'll be more about, Tiana Paris's character trying to get him back from being the Candyman. I'm going to assume that's how they're going to bring them both back if they do franchise it out. So that's why I think they didn't try to kill her. But I thought that was flimsy. But that's my only thing I could really see what they were doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like especially like I think this movie will get a sequel as long as everybody wants to come back for it, because it did really well at the box office. Well, really well for COVID times. But I guess that makes sense, and I'm open to seeing how they reconcile turning the Candyman into something more redeemable. But just speaking within the confines of this story and like everything Candyman was doing, it just I didn't think it needed him to be a superhero at the end.
Oh, absolutely not. I didn't think so either.
Joel, I kind of like your idea a little bit though. Like I'm with you guys on the ending, but I like if the sequel is kind of it'd be interesting to see like the entity of Candyman, like all these different facets of Candyman, like they mentioned like 5 different people who've been Candyman, and now Yaya is just kind of the newest entity there. Like, what if they all sort of had different ideas of what their legacy is meant to be, and like the next movie was kind of taking on like what are these different perspectives on like this trauma, or there's different facets of trauma, and how do they manifest in Candyman in some sense, and like his was just like, I don't want to be a villain. You know, I don't know. It could be interesting.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think that in the second one, if they get Yaya back, which I think so, I think he's going to be even bigger by then because he'll have the Matrix movies there too. So he's going to be like a mega star by the time if they get him back, as he's even already growing.
He's in the Matrix too. Like,
yeah.
What is it? Matrix. He was in Us. He was Black Manta in Aquaman.
Watchmen.
He played Dr. Manhattan. Like,
it's funny because in 2019, I wrote this article about him, and I was like, oh, is this the new king of horror and science fiction? Because I was like, he's got these movies coming up. I think he's gonna be the new king of horror and science fiction. And then like this did so well, and then the Matrix trailer came out. I was like, oh well, it was kind of an easy shot to call, but it looks like he is.
I mean,
Joel
like,
called it, everyone. Joel called it.
Just like in the sense of like the amount of like amazing directors and like creators he's worked with and had the pleasure. Like I would say like the only other person that's had like that kind of like trajectory that like I'm always just like super impressed when I stop and think about it is like Adam Driver. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Like those two have just like within not like a small period of time, but like considerably small, like less than 10 years. Like they've just run the gamut of great characters and working with great creators.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
They need to do a movie together now.
Dude, I would love whatever movie it was.
100% agreed.
Oh
Nice
my
fake
god,
cast.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be so good. Do you want one more piece of fun trivia from my light Wikipediaing?
Go for it. And then I have one more piece of trivia myself.
Okay, I apologize in advance if I somehow stole your trivia.
You might have.
Tony Todd somehow worked out a deal because like they used live bees for all of his scenes that he would get $1,000 for every time he got stung by a bee, and he got stung 23 times.
I knew that trivia. And it's like one of my favorite trivias about the Candyman series.
That was my trivia too, Khalid.
Was it?
Yours too? That's
No,
so nuts to me.
It's so good though, isn't it? It's so
Would
good.
you guys get
Yeah.
stung that many times for $1,000 a sting?
Absolutely.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
wouldn't.
I would.
I wouldn't. Like I have like no phobia of like any other thing in the world apart from like bees and wasps for some reason. I don't know why.
I'm not scared of bees, but like that experience sounds awful.
I think if I was preparing for it though, like I wouldn't mind. So like, okay, so I'm gonna expand on your piece of trivia, Khalid. I have a lot more on that, but like, so this is the last big piece of the VFX I think is just interesting, and you can't not talk about when you're talking about Candyman is the live bees. There's 200,000 bees on set, and while much of the crew wore protective bodysuits, when Tony Todd had the bees on him, all he had was a dental dam to protect himself.
Yeah,
not enough.
No.
See, you can't. I love the new one. I really do. The bees, though, was one of those things. I'm like, okay, the original with the real bees, you can't replicate that.
You can't
feel
beat
like
it. I don't know how you do. Yeah, you can't beat
digital
it.
bees just don't give you that same like goosebump feeling.
No.
Yeah. And they had to use special bees apparently because Virginia Madsen is allergic to bees, so they had to use like a special breed that she wasn't allergic to.
Which is hilarious that like this like bee-centric movie, like the lead actor is allergic to them.
Yeah. You know who's not allergic to bees? Sandra Bullock.
Oh,
I have no idea if that's true, but it feels like it would be.
Google it, Frankenstein's. I said it right.
You did say it right. Well done. The other fun fact is like the bee guy, he also did My Girl and what was it, that other one that the one where Macaulay Culkin gets killed by a bee.
It is My Girl.
Is that My Girl? Okay.
Yeah.
So he did that one too. So like in my head the whole time I was just like, did the bee that killed Macaulay like make an appearance? Like
might have been the same bee.
Yeah, is there a cameo? Like what are we talking about here? What if it's like canonically like this is like a shared universe with My Girl? And it's just like one bee that just goes around and just wrecks shit.
Now I wouldn't know what other movies this guy worked on. It's probably this weird bee shared universe.
Same guy.
Yeah. I don't know how many like foremost like bee experts you need in Hollywood.
It's probably just one guy. Yeah.
Speaking of bees, Khalid.
No.
Sometimes
Sometimes
bears will stick their paws into honey and bees will make honey. And that's a segue to the Four Bears test, y'all.
Okay. Not your worst, not your best. So for those of you listening for the first time, Four Bears test is a pretty simple, dumb question I came up with. What would happen if you switched out the monster we're talking about with four bears? Does the story change or does it work the same? Like, yeah, it's a thought experiment. It's silly. Anyways, with this one, I guess I got to do the Four Bears test twice, right? Like the Tony Todd Candyman and then Sherman.
You could.
I mean, I guess they more or less occupy the same space with what they can do. So, on a just like 1-to-1 ratio, no, Four Bears do not make this movie happen. It's not the same story at all. It'd be a very confusing story about four bears running through the projects, just murdering people. So, but you know, every once in a while I like to like give the caveat and try to even the odds. So let's say that for whatever reason, the Four Bears have like the same power set as Tony Todd's character or Sherman Field's character, and you have to say like 4 bears 5 times in a mirror and then they'll appear. Yeah, like the carnage is going to be more or less the same. I do think that it's just like when you're talking about something like spirits or ghosts or whatever, like the power levels are so indifferent to the actual like scope or scale of the person that's using it. You know, it's like telekinesis almost. Like it doesn't matter. You could be in a wheelchair like Professor X and you could still do a lot of damage. So that like it doesn't matter if it's 4 ghost bears or 1 dude as a ghost. But like, so like it could be the same story, but I mean, the racial undertone would be completely lost. I don't think that people would have the same like connection to 4 bears that were going around like killing cops or whatever. So I think that like, even if I'm generous with it, I don't think that it works. It's a fail.
It's a fail, huh?
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
It was close. It was really close when you said like summing them like Candyman and then the amount of carnage they would do. I was like, oh yeah, we got there.
Yeah, but again, like it's literally it could be like a ladybug. As long as it's a ghost, it could do damage.
It's true.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. It's a very clear fail.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I guess it's a bad movie then. That's my new thing. If a movie fails the 4 bears test, that's my way of saying I hate it.
It's just a bad movie now.
It doesn't work now.
All right, so you guys, back to the drawing board.
Speaking of going back to the drawing board, Khalid, would you fight or would you flirt with the Candyman?
Okay. So this one I do have to split it up between the 2 movies. I would fight the Tony Todd one because it's probably like the best way to like enter a fight is like you hold all the cards. Like the guy can't come for me unless I summon him. So when I say I'm going to fight him, I just mean I'm going to do nothing. You know what I mean? Like every day I'm going to wake up, I'm going to go to the bathroom, I'm going to brush my teeth, and I'm going to win that fight by not saying Candyman 5 times. So, you know what I mean? And and I could even like consider like flirt with him, but it's like, one, he's clearly hung up on this one white lady from like hundreds of years ago. So like, I'm not competing with that. You know, I don't know what this like Dixie charmer girl from like the South like did to win his heart. I don't want to have to fight somebody that I'm never going to see. And yeah, like I value myself too much to try and like be a replacement for somebody. Okay. The Sherman Field / Yahya Abdul-Mateen one though, I'm flirting because it sounds like if he likes you, he will just wreck anybody that even tries to mess with you, per that ending we discussed. And that sounds cool to just like have like a ghost on hand to just like really just clear the slate of all enemies for me whenever that comes up. So that sounds cool. So I would fight Tony Todd and flirt Yahya / Sherman Fields.
There you have it, Khalid.
Yeah.
Wow. I love it.
The way you explained it at the end there, it's kind of like a Death Note. It's like a close proximity Death Note. You can just like call it.
Kinda.
You know,
it's like my Black Death Note. Yeah. I'm into it. Yeah.
Did you guys like just like thinking back of the Tony Todd Candyman, like when he opens his jacket and you see like the rib cage thing?
Ooh, that was pretty gnarly.
That was gnarly.
Yeah, it's like cool ghost stuff. Like it's like, why is your face fine, but like that part's rotted.
That felt the most Clive Barker-y to me. That reminded me of Hellraiser. Like the kind of aesthetics there. Like it makes it feel like those movies could exist in the same world potentially.
I had a weird thing.
Those 2 movies and My Girl.
Yeah. Exactly.
It reminded me of. I don't know if you guys seen. Have you guys seen the Bill Murray movie Scrooged?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
It reminded me of that. I recommend that. It reminded me of that when he sees a ghost of Christmas future, I guess it is, and he lifts up
the robe.
in the robe, and there's like monsters inside of it. So it kind of reminded me of that for some reason.
Oh yeah, that is a great scene. I forgot about that. Yeah,
I recommend you guys do an episode on that movie. It's full of a lot of monsters.
We should. Yeah, we should. I haven't watched Scrooge in a long time.
It'd be another first for me.
There we go.
Watch it every Christmas.
All right, y'all. That was a good discussion. We should
one last thing before we pivot. Did
last
either
thing.
of you guys see the like video that was going around of like it was like if Terrence Howard was in Candyman?
No.
No.
It's so funny. It's just like audio or whatever of somebody doing like a Terrence Howard impression or whatever. And it's like, he's like standing in front of the mirror. He's like, I don't know. It's not happening. I keep saying it. It's like, what do you say? He's like, Candyman, Candyman, Candyman. It's like, no, but it's Candyman. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Candyman. And it's just so, it's one joke and it's so funny. Yeah. I'll try to find the link or something to send it to you guys, but it's so funny.
Please do.
I very much want to see that.
All right. Sorry to derail you, Joe.
You're fine. I just figured probably head to the wrapping up phase and hit up our final what the fandom segment section. I said section again, damn it.
I mean,
segment.
They're interchangeable, aren't they?
Kind of. I like segment better.
All right. Well, then, yeah, stop doing that.
I'll try. I don't know why I just automatically go to section, but what the fandom is a segment of the show in which we go around and just share something that we're into that may or may not have anything to do with the movie, the monster we discussed, or monsters even at all. So just something we think you guys might dig that we're into at the moment. So Joel, do you have something in mind already?
I do. I have something in mind already.
All right, guest first. Go for it.
Yeah. I'm going to mention the one thing this year that gave me nightmares for 3 days, which was Drawn Origins. It's a Netflix TV series that is like the origin story for the Grudge movies, pretty much, but the Japanese original one. That series haunted me for like 3 days after, and I was like really, as a horror fan, I was like happy that I got like that scared of it, but it was a really great horror series. So if you're like a diehard horror fan, I recommend that Netflix series. It's really well done.
Can you say what the name of it is again?
Ju-On Origins.
Ju-On Origins.
Yeah,
cool. I actually didn't even know that was out.
Yeah, it's
heard about it. Yeah,
incredible. It's incredible.
That sounds awesome. I'll definitely check that out. How about you, Khalid?
Yeah. So my recommendation this week is going to be a documentary called Death by Pollution, but it's actually like a sub recommendation of this streaming platform called Means TV. It's essentially this like worker-owned streaming platform that kind of has like a pseudo-socialist like philosophy on how it operates, and so like all the creators and stuff like that just have like way more input, and the profits are spread a lot better than like, for example, like Netflix. Like it's just some dude you don't know that's like making most of the money, you know. So I really like the platform, and it's a pretty reasonable subscription rate of like $10 a month. And they have a lot of cool stuff on there, but the documentary in particular that I'm talking about today is called Death by Pollution, and it's all about this story of the first the first person in London to, on their death certificate, have pollution listed as like a cause of death. And it's because it was this little girl who had like bad asthma, and she lived in like a populated like London area, and the pollution that was like offset and like put up and surrounding her eventually like contributed to killing her. And it's a really powerful story about like the direction our world is headed in the sense that like this is just right now it's like an anecdotal like, whoa, that's crazy kind of a story, but in 5 years, maybe less, like it's gonna be more and more common if we keep going the way we are. In this movie, it's not even real, it's like a short film, it's like 10-minute short film, but it does a really good job of just like making this more of a priority for like folks like me who don't necessarily every day consider it like a priority. So yeah, I would recommend checking that out.
Damn, seems heavy.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll definitely check that out. It seems like poignant and important.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. My what the fandom is far less important, Khalid. So it's a bit of a come down here. So honestly, for me, I just a couple weeks ago, I have my school year started. So listeners may or may not know I am an elementary teacher, and so like back to school, the first couple weeks are always some of the most challenging. So I have not gotten a lot of watching stuff in. But that being said, while I'm doing work and doing lesson plans and stuff, I've been throwing on the original 1970s Battlestar Galactica show which is free on Tubi, one of those streaming services. Yeah, Tubi. But I have never actually watched it, and I just seemed like a good background show, but it's actually really charming. I'm impressed with the level of like representation, especially for like Black actors that we saw, like better than Star Wars, I would say. Gender dynamics, less so, unfortunately. But there's a lot of cool, like just campy charm in it. It's very, very Star Wars. Like it's trying to be Star Wars hard, but that's fine. But I'm into the story. Shiny robots, fun space battles. There's some cool, weird aliens that the remake never had. There's a weird robot puppet dog that kind of makes me a little uncomfortable, but it's okay. So I don't know. It's a cool, charming show. If you were looking for a fun space opera from the 70s, check out Tubi for free and check out Battlestar Galactica. That's my What the Fandom.
To be or not to be?
That's their slogan.
Yeah, it should be. You can have that one for free, Tubi.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Joel, do you have anything you want to plug before we sign off?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Westcoast Strange on Instagram and on Facebook, and
Twitter now.
And Twitter now. I follow you guys on Twitter too. So find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook on at Westcoast Strange.
And listen to the podcast.
Yeah, and listen to my podcast, No Stranger to Horror.
Yeah, it's really good.
Thank
you
so
go.
much.
Khalid, before you sign us off, I wanted to say, eagle-eared listeners, it'd be fun if you want to join us on social. You should count throughout this episode how many times we say Candyman, because Khalid promised to say it 5 times.
Oh, did I promise?
You did on Twitter.
Okay. All right. Just to make sure and hedge my bets. Candyman.
Oh no, you did it. Oh no.
No. Should I just do it real quick? Just do the 5? I'm not gonna, but should I?
No, don't do it.
I'll do the Vanessa Williams start clapping right now.
I don't know why. Every 99% of my brain recognizes that nothing will happen, and that 1% is just like, don't bother. Why even risk it?
Why try? Right?
Yeah.
Why try?
Yeah. There's just there's no net positive to trying it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
it was anyway. But anyway, Joel, it was a blast to have you on talking about Candyman, or I guess Candymen. There's multiple. I guess we have now. So the Candymen folks. Also on social page, I just posted a tweet recently about our fans and followers to share what your favorite monster in pop culture is, since it's a regular guest question. So I thought it'd be kind of fun, Khalid. We always ask for people to drop us a nice review, leave us that 5 stars. But instead of saying like a nice review, how about you drop us 5 stars and share like what monsters are most important to you in pop culture? I think that'd be cool.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I'm excited to see what people say.
Yeah.
Like Joe said, hit us with that 5-star and either give us a cool review or tell us about a monster that just scares the crap out of you. But yeah, Joel, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on and talk about monsters. And yeah, Joe, as always, cool talking to you. Trying to hear your segues.
Thanks, guys.
And to the audience, thank you as always for listening to us. We appreciate you. We look forward to talking again. The next one on the slate, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, is RoboCop.
It is.
We talking Verhoeven, baby. I am so hyped to talk about that movie. So yeah, tune back in for that one. It's going to be a good discussion with our friend Jim Tamberg, who's been on the show. And yeah, guys, until next time, creep it easy.